Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Monday night live stream. Nice to see so many of you in here nice and early. I can see the chat has all been about Game of Thrones and you've all watched it already, so I really do appreciate that. I've kind of got a little number in my head and I thought if I can get to that number tonight, then every week on the live stream for the next however long won't be a complete disaster because you won't all have disappeared to watch Game of Thrones. So let's see if we hit that number tonight. So we got a good bunch in tonight anyway, so hello to everybody. I'll pop back and say hello to everybody that's in the chat and people that have been there since 4 minutes past 8, Ruth. Nice and early there. But yeah, plenty in. For those on Mugwatch tonight, we've got Lannisters in celebration of Game of Thrones for all you that watch it religiously. To be honest, I kind of gave up on it a little bit about season 4 after I binge watched all 4 seasons. But I felt like I was kind of fighting to watch it. And I've never gone back to it yet. I will do at some point, but I've never gone back to it. So I was completely oblivious to the fact that it was on 9 o'clock tonight. So never mind. We are where we are, eh? So how are we doing? Let's have a look and see who we've got in the chat. So as I said, we got Flying Mammal in there nice and early. Not sure if she's back yet, but good evening, Flying Mammal, when you do get back. We also had Rain in, said, let's go nice and early. He was ready there at 8:30, so good evening, Rain. The Fomorian's in, said, hello, Andy, and all the others. Good evening, Fomorian. And he says, great topic, or he or she, I should say, says, great topic as suggested. Now, when you say as suggested, I'm assuming with a little smiley winky face there, you're in the Facebook group. Now, I don't want to try and guess who you are. I don't think I actually realised you in the Facebook, you in this chat was somebody in the Facebook group. So let me know who you are, Fomorian. I don't think I've ever put 2 and 2 together, actually. Flying Marvel's got the spades in there as well. Al Krabby says, hi all. Evening, Al. How you doing, buddy? Phil Wilkinson in as well. Haven't seen you here for a little while, Phil. Hope you're well, my friend. We got Henrik in as well. Says, hello. Good evening, Henrik. Robertson as well says, all right, I made it. Nice to see you, Robert. Always a bit of a funny one with a time difference, but thank you very much for coming in. Fomorian says, live stream is coming. We've got Steve Evans in as well. Says, good evening all. Good evening, Steve Evans. Steve's been pretty busy this weekend, showing some pictures in the Facebook group. It seems like you've done about 6 months worth of hobby in a weekend. Who else we got? We got Mark in as well. Good evening, Mark. How you doing, fella? Both me and Mark have our names in the front of I nearly said Harry Potter there. The Hellboy rulebook as part of the playtest team. That was quite a nice little thing to see there tonight. So yeah, was pretty cool, mate. Nice to see your name in there as well, buddy. Plenty of chat. It's jumping around now. We've got Al saying evening to everyone. Christian saying evening everyone as well. Good evening, Christian. I hope you're well, friend. Henrik saying hello as well. Al saying, just watch Game of Thrones, need something to calm me down from the dragon buzz. That goes way over my head. I appreciate there's dragons in it, but I've got no idea where the story's up to. Mark's just waiting for the next episode. Christian's watched it earlier as well, so it will be free for the live show. Legend. Thanks you very much, mate. Rain says it's been way too long since he was able to watch the live show. So, nice to see you in then, Rain. I'm really glad you could make it. Skullmunch is in, saying evening all, and Game of Thrones was pretty cool. Nice one. Al says, for the record, Andy, I'm hoping you have dragons. No, sorry, mate. Don't think I've got any dragons to help you out there. Raw's in as well. He said, Raw Gaming said, made it again. Nice one, fella. Nice one. Bold Nerdy's in. Said, glad I'm finally able to make it. Nice to see you, Bold Nerdy. How you doing, mate? Haven't spoken in a little while. We've got Matt Prescott in. Good evening, Matt. Nice to see you too. Seems like we've got a good old bunch in here tonight, haven't we? I see it old in the kind of old friends sense of the world, not in the age. Rain says, hey there, my second favourite Brit, right after Theresa May. I'm not even going to go into politics on that one. I don't know whether to be blessed or offended by that one. Bold and Nerdy said, I had to stop Game of Thrones after Sean Bean left, broke my heart and couldn't take any more. You certainly didn't get very far into the series then, did you, mate? Bold and Nerdy said he's read all the books, though. Yeah, I think I tried to read the books many, many years ago before the TV series was ever a thing, but I think I've said this many times on the channel, fantasy's never really been my strong point, so I kind of struggled a little bit just to too many characters, I think, to keep a track of when I wasn't really kind of engaged in it. But hey, I might try it again at some point. Steve said, it's all right, mate. I don't watch Game of Thrones. Well, at least there'll be 2 of us every week, mate. That's a good point. Peter Nicholas says, hey, guys, I made it on time. Nice to see you, Peter. How are you doing? Someone said, I'm glad to see you always pay your debts. Of course. I've watched enough to understand the reference. Rain says, we have a saying in Finland, only cowards pay their debts. Henrik says, I have a nice topic. I'm really starting to hate Kickstarter. If you buy the retail version later, you feel cheated out, or you have to pay top bucks on eBay. It's an interesting one, that the whole Kickstarter exclusive stuff and things, isn't it? That fear of missing out and all that. This week and last week, I have had a bunch of deliveries. Some of it Kickstarter, some of it not Kickstarter. But to be honest, this room, you can't see it, but this room is a bit of a tip at the minute. I've got boxes all over the floor here ready to be kind of sorted out and stuff. But yeah, my Hellboy arrived today, so that was quite nice to see. I was both happy and disappointed. I was happy because it's eventually arrived. I was slightly disappointed that it doesn't fit nicely on my shelf behind me. It's too tall to fit into a Kallax shelf. It'll fit if you tip it on its side and push it in, but I wanted to kind of display it on the shelf behind me, so I'll have to put it up on the top there next to Hero Quest. What else we got? Raw says, I have chat but no video or sound. My signal must be awful. Is everybody else okay? Have I got any problems? All seem to be okay. VJ is in as well. Morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, VJ. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you very briefly yesterday as well on the Tabletop Minions chat. Skullmunch says, hey, all legacy chappies. Legacy chappies. There's got to be some kind of quirky little name in there somewhere. The Ferrorian says, you are right, I'm in the Facebook group. My name is... I thought it was you, Martin. I didn't want to say it in case it wasn't. I didn't want to offend you. I had a feeling it was you, buddy. Nice one. At least I know who you are now, mate. I don't think I ever put 2 and 2 together before until now. We've got Johnny Jumbo in. It says, evening, Andy and the Blackjackers. Good evening, Johnny. How are you? Peter says, please no Game of Thrones spoilers. I didn't watch it yet. In that case, Peter, I'm even more honoured that you come in. I don't think anybody's going to spoil for you tonight, buddy. Ross says he's got the video now. That's good. Russell Higgins is in. Says, sup from across the pond. Good evening, Russell. Or good afternoon, maybe. I'm not sure what the time difference is, but how are you doing? Hope everything's okay. Phil's in. He says he's well, thanks. Good one. Got Paulos in. Says, hello, everyone. Thoughts are with Parisians on this sad day. Yeah, definitely, mate. First of all, good evening. And yeah, if anybody hasn't seen the news, Notre Dame Cathedral suffered some really, really bad sort of fire tonight. Really bad fire damage. It's very, very sad news. Rain says, which one are you most excited about, Batman or Hellboy? Oh, it's a bit of a toss-up, really, I'll be honest. So, I think it's a real mixed bag because I'm a massive Batman fan. I'm more of a Batman fan than I am a Hellboy fan, purely from the comic books. So I was really looking forward to Batman coming. And because I'd got to play Hellboy in the past, and I've even got to see the Kickstarter box and open up everything else, I was looking forward to seeing Batman because I didn't have any kind of sort of idea of what was coming, really. However, after unboxing the Kickstarter with James and Sophie, and then after going to see Hellboy at the weekend, I was really hyped for getting the Hellboy. So I'm really glad it's come today. To be honest, I've very briefly over the weekend started to try and work through the rules for Batman. Never got a chance because my little boy's been really ill this weekend. He's still not great at the minute, and I'm sure me and my wife will pick up the bug at some point as well. So we've had a bit of a weekend of changing his pajamas and changing his bed sheets quite a bit. He's been vomiting quite a lot this weekend. So I never really got much of a chance to look into the Batman stuff. However, Hellboy arrived today now, along with some other stuff that arrived today as well, which they're on my desk here. You might be able to hear. So I might be able to tell you about those as well in a bit, because I'm quite excited about them as well. I pretty much got my hands full at the minute, so we'll see. So to answer your question, that was a really long-winded way around it. I'm not really sure, mate. I'm equally excited for them both. However, I did, after going to watch Hellboy at the weekend, I went straight online and bought myself a BPRD t-shirt because I was that kind of, I thought, I love this. I really enjoyed the film. We might get onto that at some point. But yeah, we'll have a chat about that later. So, Robert says, no problems. Fantastic. I'm glad everything seems to be okay. Johnny says, just seen Fomorian on Here's Morton Hawk on the Facebook group. I'm Johnny Juju. Johnny Juju, I assumed, but Fomorian and Martin Hawk seemed very, very different. So, but there was something when he'd said in the chat that he'd suggested the topic. I had a feeling that's who it was, but I didn't want to embarrass them by saying it wasn't. Fomorian saying nice to see some familiar faces. I think that's the case, isn't it? We always seem to have kind of, it takes me quite a bit of time to get my head around who everybody is, because not everybody has the same name in every group, and some people are on Twitter with a different name and some people are on Instagram with a different name. It's nice to kind of sort of get everybody in one place though. Phil says Sean B died about 25 times in movies. He must have something in his contract that says you pay me for the full movie, but I'm only going to record half of it. That's the only reason why. Al says, sad to see Notre Dame in flames. Genuinely blew me away when I was there. Such a beautiful building. Unfortunately, I never got to see it. I'm kind of quite sad about that, really. But seeing the pictures on the news tonight, it's unbelievable, really. That's pretty much kind of gone for, really, isn't it? Unfortunately. Skullmunch says, hope Mini Jacker is okay. He's to be honest, mate, he started vomiting on Friday, sort of tea time-ish. And then pretty much has kind of continued all through the weekend with a little bit of the other end starting to happen from around lunchtime yesterday. So he's stopped vomiting now, but he's still having a bit of a tough time of it. My wife took a day off work today, so she could kind of look after him today. It's my turn to take some time off and look after him tomorrow. And then hopefully we can kind of, between us, we can get through the week, because obviously he has to have a few days off as well, even once he's better, so the other kids don't all catch it as well. So yeah, we've got our hands full this week. Fiji says, good to see you on the Minions chat, Andy. Speedy recovery to your little fella, mate. Yeah, I quite like dipping into the Minions chat. I mean, first of all, because I think the channel's great, and I love I love to see what both Adam and all the community's up to. It was really quite nice yesterday, actually. I popped in and said hello, and about 3 or 4 people all said kind of sort of like welcome and stuff. Really like your channel, really enjoying watching your videos, which was quite nice. I felt kind of weird. I felt like I was hijacking his chat a little bit, so I felt a bit uncomfortable about that, but it was nice. But what I find, there are so many people in his chat that almost Uncle Adam goes off and he just has his big talk and he just kind of rambles, a bit like what I'm doing now, really, just talks about stuff. And everybody in the chat has their own kind of conversation. It's almost like trying to listen to what he's saying and have the conversation in the chat. It's quite difficult when there's that many people involved. Peter Nicholas says, at Rob Saunders, ooh, Judge Dredd. I didn't see Rob comment here. Oh, there he is. I've completely missed him somehow, buddy. Really, really sorry about that. Have I just jumped over, like, somehow some of these chats just jumped over. First of all, Christian says he still doesn't have his Hellboy confirmation or delivery mail. Mine only came on Friday, mate, actually, so it came really late on Friday. So yeah, I think we're starting probably to get towards some of the end of ones. Rob Saunders, very sorry, mate. I must have completely, I think the chat jumped up and I missed your name there. He says, hello everyone, first time watching the live stream. I'm just making some characters for the new Judge Dredd RPG. First of all, thank you very much for joining the live stream. And I want to hear more about Judge Dredd RPG. I was a massive Judge Dredd fan when I was a kid. I think I talked about it briefly when I did the, when I talked about the historicals stuff a while ago. My cousin was big into historicals when I was a kid, and he basically wouldn't let me go anywhere near his stuff. And that was that put me off historical gaming when I was a kid. However, he did buy the Judge Dredd and the 2000 AD comics, and he used to give them to me when he was finished. So that was how I got into comic books. So I both kind of, I dislike the fact he put me off historical gaming, but I quite like the fact he got me into Judge Dredd. So, right, we can kind of catching up on that a little bit now. Paulus is saying, hope the little one's feeling better. Yeah, like I say, he's still not 100%, but he's better than he was, that's for damn sure. We've got Jack in, says, hello Andy, hello all. Good evening, Jack, how are you? Rain says, would be cool if you make painting videos about Batman. Suppose I could, really. Would anybody else quite like to see them? It's one of those things where actually I'm not... Batman's a funny one. I'm not sure how big the audience is for it now, because it's almost like there was a limited amount of people bought it. If I look at some of the Batman videos, the unboxings and all that kind of stuff, it makes me wonder just how big the audience is for it. Has everybody just got their stuff now and they're either playing it or they're almost kind of tucked away doing other stuff? I'll think about it though, because I'll certainly be painting them up at some point anyway. My only worry is there's so many miniatures. There's so many miniatures in there. I don't really want a kind of a half-finished set, that's all. Robert's saying, hope the little guy's okay. Thank you, Robert. And Bold and Nerdy saying something similar as well. Hope the little one gets better quickly. Yeah, me too, mate. I'm more worried about the fact that he was so ill over the weekend. I'm assuming me and my wife's going to pick up whatever bug he's got. We're going to get it as well at some point. And it'll be just our luck. We get it over the bank holiday weekend. Peter says, my name never changes, but I always wear a disguise. I can just picture you now, Peter, with those glasses with a huge big nose on it and the fake moustache. Rose says, combined all my social media into one name as I losing track of myself. Yeah, mine's all the same as well, so I might as well give a bit of a shout for that while I'm here. So if you partake in Twitter, if you use Instagram, I am at BlackJack Legacy on all of those. I really would appreciate you following me, and I will certainly follow you all back as well, because it's good to see what you're up to with your pictures and whatever you're tweeting about as well. That's always good. So please do add me in if you're using those systems. We've got Kirill in as well, #1 member. Good evening, Kirill. How are you doing? It's nice to be here again. He says the streams make my Mondays better. That's very nice of you to say so, buddy. Thank you very much. While I remember as well, there is loads of people who have asked me about the join thing, how to get the memberships and how to get the little green name and the symbol. I honestly can't find it anywhere. All I can find, I'm going to post a link here. I'll just cut it and paste it. There's a link. That's what it tells me you should be able to use. However, I'm not really sure it works. So if somebody wants to click it, you don't feel obliged, but see if the link works to see whether you can do it that way. If you can't, the other thing I think I've seen is that you have to have 50,000 subscribers to unlock the little join button, but somehow I've got a member, and it was obviously there at some point, and it's in all of the background analytics. It shows me where I can put the little tag on, so that's where the little kind of the BlackJack Legacy logos come from. Who knows? VJ says it's easier to get Adam's ear. That said, oh sorry, I must have missed some chat there as well. VJ says, I heard the new Hellboy isn't doing well at the cinema. Never really been into Hellboy lore, but gotta say, I'd take Ron Perlman any day. To be fair, mate, it's not doing particularly well at the cinema. However, I think a lot of the initial reviews have put people off going to see it. However, from a review point of view, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got something like 12% from the reviewers, from critics. But from just sort of normal audiences like me and you, it's at 64%. Now, the original Hellboy film's only at 65%. So it's actually been received quite well by audiences. I just hope that's enough to get it a sequel, because I really, really enjoyed it. In fact, I loved the film. I would go back and see it tomorrow. And I think that David Harbour, who plays Hellboy, as much as I like Ron Perlman, David Harbour does an absolutely fantastic job of it. So a little bit disappointed, to be fair, that it's not doing as well as I would have liked, because I want to see a sequel. VJ saying we have a great little community with the minions. Can get a bit flooded. You should do the $4 Patreon so you can get into the regulars chat. It's a much smaller and tighter community. So is that a different live stream completely? Is it, buddy? VJ says it's easier to get Adam's ear. Said it does a great job to manage the large sessions. Yeah, I think it helps. He's obviously got like a moderator as well that's in there. He basically kind of just chats much like I'm doing now, and then he'll pick the odd question out and stuff like that. I'm not at his side yet. I'm not at his size of a channel yet. I guess this is kind of like our little irregulars. Maybe one day this will become so sort of big and so busy that we're all kind of complaining about that we can't have a proper chat anymore. So then we'll have our own little irregulars chat, I guess. But at the minute, it's just a nice number. I think if we tip over 50, it gets a little bit crazy. Anything just under the 50 mark. So anywhere between 30 and 50 is enough to keep the chat flowing. It keeps me with plenty to talk about. and it's enough that I can kind of interact with everybody's comments. Once it gets above 50, it seems to scroll a bit fast, and I kind of lose my way a little bit. Bold and Nerdy says, my Hellboy just shipped in the US and is going to be here next Monday. Super excited. With Mantic, which I'm assuming he says, wish Mantic had a larger presence in the state. Loves Mantic Games. Yeah, they're a good bunch. They're a good bunch, the Mantic folks. I think they'll only go from strength to strength with things like Hellboy, that's for sure. Where are we at? Kirill says he really likes the Hellboy movie. It's unfairly blamed. Completely agree, buddy. I really loved it too. Henrik says, Bat Metal rules. My son is absolutely, he finds the Bat Cow model absolutely hilarious, thinks it's the funniest thing he's ever seen, which I thought was quite cool as well. Then we've got Flying Mammal says, paint Harley and Poison Ivy, you'll get views. Do you know what it is? It would not surprise me, or Catwoman, to be honest. A little bit somebody dies if I do that though, but I know what you mean, yeah. Where are we? Paulie P says, hello, it's Peter. No, it's Paul. Hashtag Acon. Hello, Paul. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you in the chat. And Paulie M says, hey up, Chuck, best wishes. Only one Pinman says, good evening. Legacies. Oh, Legacies. I quite like that one. Legacies. The one that always stands out to me is kind of like a little kind of a name that they've got for the group of kind of chatters and stuff. If anybody watches a guy called Nick Nimmin, he does like he makes sort of tutorial stuff about YouTube and how to grow your channel and all of that kind of stuff. And his little group of followers is called the Nimminati, and I think that's the coolest name ever. Doesn't work for my name, obviously, but I quite like Legacies. Legacies could be a strong contender. I knew at some point somebody would come up with a better one than BlackJackers. Rob said his internet crashed, but he's back. Thank you for coming back, buddy. One Pinman says, not been for a couple of weeks, but glad to be back. I'm glad to have you back, buddy. Russell says, aren't they doing a re-release of Batman Gotham Chronicles June the 4th, where you can pick up the previous edition? I'm kind of scared of it if they're not playing it around here. They are. Part of me is a little bit disappointed about it, if I'm honest, because one of the reasons I backed it in the first place was because they said they were never going to go to retail, and I thought I'll probably never get a chance to get it again. They are tying it in with the 80th anniversary of Batman, and there's going to be extra stuff that you can buy along with the original one as well. So the only thing I would say is, I guess it's a Kickstarter, so it's going to run for a year, but I would have liked to have seen the original one be out sort of in the wild for a bit longer to iron out any issues. And then if they launched the second one, they'd have more time to kind of put those things right. But hey, you can't have it always, eh? Peter says, damn, you saw me with the disguise. And Skullman says, no, but just go to your channel. Yeah, it's basically my channel with the word join on the end of it, which is what it tells me to kind of share. But I've got no idea why. And the YouTube gaming site, I think, is now being closed down, which is what it was originally linked from. So I have no idea how to do it, buddy. Rob says to Peter, that's right, not had a chance to run a game, but looks like it'd be pretty great. Henrik saying, do not use the link, you'll get kicked out. Yeah, it probably sends you to the page and then you have to come back in again, so apologies for that. We've got Bazza in from Underdog Peyton says, howdy peeps. Good evening, Bazza. How you doing, mate? Skullman says, I can see it on other channels, so something weird is going on with YouTube. Yeah, I can see it on other channels as well. But however, to be honest, the only one I have seen it on has got over 300,000 subscribers. So maybe it's a numbers thing. It's definitely there. Obviously, Kirill's managed to do it somehow. So it's definitely there. I will do some further digging because it's annoying the life out of me, if I'm honest. Phil says, I thought I was #1 member. That's it, I'm from Mikey. He says he's going to throw his GW washes in the bin. We're not worthy. Everybody's worthy, you know that. Kirill says he had good news this week. Mantic Hellboy game will be localized in Russian. That's pretty cool. I guess it probably depends upon how popular it is or what kind of interest they've had, but it's really good you're getting like a localized version. That's good. Phil says, we all love you. Oh, you cutie. And I love you all too. Paula said it's like an exclusive gentleman's club. We've got ladies in here as well, you know. VJ says, okay, I'll probably see it when it hits streaming or if I head to the cinema soon. Yeah, if you're not a fan of Hellboy, there's probably not much in the film to kind of drag you in there. But if you do like Hellboy, it's exactly what to expect from a Hellboy movie. Russell says, Painted or Not has done Catwoman. I did see that, actually. I saw that at the weekend. I saw the little thumbnail, but I haven't watched it. VJ says, the Irregulars chat's a separate once-a-month stream. It's a really great little subsection of the community. Also gets you access to the Discord, which is really great for hanging out between streams. How many of you lot use Discord? My two older lads use it all the time for their gaming and stuff. It absolutely goes over my head. I have no idea what Discord is. For me, it feels like it kind of replicates what the Facebook group is. Apart from, I guess, you can probably allow people in and not. So it'd be like almost so you could have like a Patreon Discord or something like that kind of thing. So who else uses Discord and what's the benefits of it? Bazza said he went to Warhammer World on Friday. I saw your photograph with the rhino, mate. It says literally everyone from YouTube turned up after I left. I think they're trying to tell me something. Not everybody, buddy. I never went. So was there a bit of a meetup or something going on, was there? Johnny says, Legacy sounds like we should all be wearing black tabards with red spades. Might start on a large hat with a red feather. Bit like the Musketeers. I like that idea, buddy. Legacy it's got a bit of a ring to it. Only One Pinman says, I didn't back the Batman game. However, if it's anything like Monolith's previous offerings, the next Kickstarter will just be a reprint. They did the same with Mythic Battles and Conan. So the biggest difference was when they did Conan, they said that they had a successful Kickstarter, but when it went to retail, they couldn't make any money out of it. By the time they paid for its production, and then they paid for to send to distributors, and distributors took their cut, and then distributors sent it to retailers, and then retailers took their cut. In order to make it an affordable price, they basically didn't make any money on any of the retail stuff. So what they said was they were going to really kind of go all out on Batman, but it was never going to hit retail. Because if it had to hit retail, it would be over £200 and nobody's going to pay that at retail. So they've delivered a great game. Don't get me wrong, they've delivered a great game. They've delivered it on time. The quality of the miniatures is good. The quality of the boards is good. The tokens, the plastic sort of trays for the villains to put all of the cards and stuff in. Really, really good quality. I really like it. It's a bit of a shame they're almost going back to Kickstarter so fast with it. VG is saying this year's GW community survey is out. Such a great idea. GW has changed so much for the better. Finally listening to the community. Be interesting to see the feedback on that one, because I guess what you don't see normally is everybody's voices. You tend to hear you don't hear the silent majority. You hear the very vocal minority. So it'll be interesting to see what comes back from that. Not that I'm sure we'd get to see it all. Where are we at? Skullmunch is saying, I use Discord. It's cool, but not sure it would add anything that Facebook does. That's always been my feeling, buddy. Famorian says, Spades would also be a unusual name for the BlackJack community members. Spades. There's got to be something in that as well, I think, yeah. Paul M says, can't be doing with Discord, too much stress. It feels a bit like Reddit to me. I completely don't understand it. Completely just being sidetracked there. We have a new member. Welcome, Skullmunch. Skullmunch is now he is now the giver of knowledge. He knows everything there is to know about it now. So he's found it. I couldn't find it, so I've got no idea how he's managed to do it. But nicely done. Nicely done. And thank you, Mash. I should say thank you very much as well. Much appreciated. Rob says he downloaded Discord. Oh, so hang on. Where we're going? Let's go back. Flying Mammal says, I can make the tabards. I bet you can as well. Joel says, good evening, Joel, as well. I didn't say hello to you. He said, isn't the Monolith Batman game basically just a reskin of Conan? Yes, it pretty much is Conan, with a lot of the issues kind of ironed out. I'm kind of reading down the chat now. I need to stop jumping around. Where we get Rob Saunders. Says, I downloaded Discord, but have no idea how it works, though. Can barely turn on my laptop. Yeah, Johnny says, get stitching, Flying Mammal. I love my BlackJack Legacy dice bag. It's the only dice bag I own, and it's there, pride of place on my desk. So when I'm editing my videos and I'm having a bit of a shitty day, I look down and I think, that's why I've got a community who thinks I'm doing something worth watching. Keep going. It's a nice little reminder there. Jason Coyerson as well. Good evening, Jason. How you doing, buddy? Bob Poynton as well says, sorry I'm late. Been to see Captain Marvel with my daughter. I saw that on Twitter, buddy. It seemed like she really enjoyed it. Nice one. There's a few people there saying they would buy dice bags. We might need a chat, Flying Mammal. There we've got our new member Skull Munch as well. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated. That's it now. We've got 2 members now. We've got those fancy little symbols. I'm going to have to I'm going to have to do a bit of work now in the background to make those little symbols different for the longer people are members. VGA says it's like a constant YouTube chat for me. I use Minions one, Agents of Sigmar, and Chris from Mini Wargaming as one. Fun for chatting with the community members and directly to the creators. Yeah, I think as somebody said, I don't think it gives me much over Facebook at the minute. I quite like Facebook because I like the way everybody can kind of share their pictures and interact. I've not used Discord. I'm assuming it does something kind of similar, but I'm just kind of used to Facebook now, I think. Yeah, Joel saying Skull Munch has found the mysterious member button. Is he going to share it though? That's the question. And Flying Mammal says we both just danced around the room. I'm really glad you could find it because, God, I couldn't. Everyone's asking how you did it. Flying Mammal's jealous. Dice Tales is in. Good evening, Mark. He says, making a Vanguard list tonight, 100 to 200 points grow list. That's a really cool idea, actually, doing that. Kirill says, yes, I'm not alone. You were part of the smallest group in YouTube, mate. There's now 2 of you. Skullman says, I knew I worked in IT for a reason. Yeah, you'll have to share out how you did it, buddy. Baz is saying, no, it wasn't a meetup. Just loads of people said they were going and would say hello. I'm going to organise a meetup soon, though, for YouTubers. Yeah, Warhammer World are a little bit funny about it, actually. They don't mind people meeting up there, but they won't let you do any filming when you're inside. So it's a good place to meet up and kind of have a game or grab a burger and stuff. But yeah, they won't let you do any filming there. Johnny says, used to play Star Trek Fleet Command on Android. Some of the fleets insist you're on Discord, and if you're not, they throw you out. Yeah, like I say, my son's League of Legends and what's the other stuff they play? What's the gun game? A bit like Call of Duty, been around for years. Massive on PC, big online community, loads of gaming. It'll come to me in a second. Somebody will mention it in the chat anyway. However, yeah, they play all that, and a lot of that's through Discord as well. Claudio says, evening all, better late than ever. Good evening, Claudio. Really nice to see you. We've got the numbers seem to be cropping up now as well. We're up to 41 people in the chat now. That's quite a nice little number. I wasn't expecting that on the same night as Game of Thrones. I wonder if Game of Thrones viewing figures are down and everybody's in here. Tony's in as well. It says, hello all. Sorry for the late arrival. Was calibrating my new 3D printer and building a chair. Who says men can't multitask? Good evening, first of all. Second of all, it's when you go to sit on your chair and you realise that's the 3D printer, and all you've done is you've just put you've put the seat on the bench. Fomorian saying to Dice Tales, nice. What faction do you play and what's your list look like? Skullman says YouTube has a page saying they know about an issue with it not showing up all the time, but if you navigate to the channel then add #join, it'll let you do it. That was the link that I gave you, was the link to my channel with /join on the end of it. That's what it told me to share. I don't know why it didn't work. Counter-Strike, that's the game. Thank you very much. Yeah, Counter-Strike was the one. Yeah, that's what the kids play a lot as well. Bloody hell, we've been chatting for half an hour as well. Right, so let's get to the point of the chat anyway. I'll try and keep up with the chat and see if we've got any new folks coming in as we go. So the point of the chat is, what have I been up to? So it's been a busy couple of weeks. I've just seen Paul saying he's never seen Game of Thrones. You're not alone, mate. I've seen like not even half of it. Yeah, so what have I been up to? So last week, obviously Batman arrived last week, so I've got a huge pile of boxes down here on the floor. We'll come to that on the channel at some point. So really looking forward to seeing Batman. We've chatted a little bit about that. I've just seen Flymo saying this wasn't the point. Yeah, so I've seen a bit of stuff online about Batman. For some whatever reason, I seem to be at the back of the queue when the Kickstarters were getting delivered. So it felt a little bit pointless for me to do much not to do any kind of unboxing or anything, stuff like that. That's already been kind of swallowed up by a lot of the other channels. Then on Thursday, I also went to Mythic Games, to their offices in the UK. Now, I see what you're saying there, Skullmunch. You're saying you had to do a link in a browser, not in the app. That'll be why then made, yeah, because mine's, for some reason, obviously I can't subscribe to my own channel, so it wouldn't show up for me. So I went to Mythic Games office. Now, fortunately, Mythic Games have an office in Newcastle. They're the only games company who have an office in Newcastle, and I always thought that was a little bit strange. So how I found out was last year at UK Games Expo, I had a demo, me and Sam, so Sam, who you'll have seen playing Vanguard with me on the channel and Walking Dead. Me and Sam were at UK Games Expo last year, and we went for a demo of Solomon Kane. And while I was kind of chatting to the guy that was demoing, he happened to mention that they just opened an office in Newcastle, or in the northeast. So I went over to chat to Ben, who's one of their kind of main dudes there, Ben Hepstall. Not Ben Hepstall. Ben Heppenstall's the guy I used to work with. It might be called Ben Heppenstall as well. Ben, anyway, is the guy. And he mentioned that they were in Newcastle. They are literally like sort of 10 minutes drive from my front door. And then I got chatting to Az Drummond. So Az he's a bit of a jack of all trades, but you'll probably know him best. He used to be on Beasts of War. He is now community manager, project manager, sort of. He wears many hats within Mythic Games, but he tends to be the face of Mythic along with Leo, who you see on a lot of the Beasts of War videos, who you'll see in the Mythic Games videos. So I got chatting to Az about a year ago, and over time we've exchanged messages. We've had a little bit of a chat now and again. And then in January, when I started to kind of sort of really up the content for the channel, he dropped me a message and he said, "Look, if you're kind of serious about this and you're really wanting to kind of push the channel on, let's get together and let's see how we can do some stuff together." Fast forward a few more months, he's been all over the world in Las Vegas for shows, and he's been over all over the place anyway, with Mythic as well, over into France to the Cannes Festival and stuff. We eventually managed to pin down a date. So Az invited me across. He introduced me to everybody in the UK office. It was a lot bigger than I expected, actually. They've basically got sort of separate sort of offices dedicated to certain games that they're working on. So I assumed in my head they would just have a team of people working on everything, but they had a team of people that were working on Solomon Kane, a team of people that were working on Reichbusters, and these are basically into separate offices. So went round, met everybody. I then got introduced to their cabinets full of minis. So I saw the entire range for Joan of Arc. So if anybody has backed Joan of Arc, you will be blown away when it arrives. I've got a few miniatures dotted about. I put a few pictures on Facebook. The scale's about 20 mil, so a little bit smaller probably than you used to, but the detail is fantastic. I was really, really impressed with the detail at a smaller scale. And what really stood out for me, is the fact that any of the kind of the monsters, the dragons, the beasts, the chimeras, whatever the other beasts were, the scale is right. So for example, the dragon is about 2 foot across its wingspan compared to like a 20 mil miniature, and the scale just feels right. So when you see them together, it just looks fantastic. So we went through, looked at all the Joan of Arc stuff. We then went through, he showed me where they were finishing off some of the stuff for Solomon Kane. So they were busy kind of doing some text for cards and finishing a few bits and pieces off. That's looking awesome, and it's come on a long way from when I did a demo last year. The game looks really polished, and the figures, the miniatures look amazing, and they're all on sort of sculpted bases and stuff as well. So they're not just on like a flat base; they're on a nice sculpted base, each of the characters. So anybody that's backed Solomon Kane, you're onto a treat there as well. We then went on and had a look at all of the Reichbusters stuff, Rightbusters looking fantastic again. Anybody that backed that, again, you will not be disappointed with Rightbusters. It looks fantastic. And then I got the chance to play a new game that they've just announced, which hasn't hit Kickstarter yet. It is coming to retail as well. And this was Super Fantasy Brawl. And how I would describe it is, if you took the best bits from Shadespire, or from Underworlds, I should say, if you took the best bits from Aristea, if you took the best bits from sort of the game League of Legends, you took some bits, a little bits out of Keyforge, all of those in a kind of some kind of a melting pot, you end up with Super Fantasy Brawl, which is basically a 3 versus 3, sort of three heroes versus 3 heroes, 1 player versus 1 player. Designed to be kind of competitive, designed to have store championships, designed to hit retail, where you buy booster, and I'll phrase this right, you buy a new hero with the cards that come with it. There's no hidden packs. Each hero comes with 6 cards that can be used with that hero, and essentially you build your team of 3, you shuffle those 3 decks of 6 together to give you 18 cards, and that's your deck. So there's no deck building. There's no dice, as the game is all driven by cards. And there's some really, really cool kind of objectives. And what happens is, there's a little objective tracker which starts off with cannot be scored, 1 VP, 2 VP, 2 VP, 1 VP. And basically at each turn you flip over an extra card and move the objectives along the track. So when it first comes up, you can't score it, but you know what it is, so you can get yourself ready for to be in position to score it next turn. Next turn, it moves along the track and it's worth 1 VP. If you wait a bit longer, it'll move further along the track and it'll be worth 2 VP. But if you wait too long, it goes off the end of the track and then you can't score it at all. So there's a really clever kind of objective mechanic where you can see what the objectives are. They're shared objectives, but you have a kind of a time limit in order to get them. And it's the first of 5 VPs. You can either score VPs from those objectives, or you can score VPs from taking out your kind of opponent's heroes. And basically, much like in League of Legends, if your hero dies, they basically go on a cooldown period, and then they come back onto the board next turn. So you never get kind of sort of steamrolled into somebody kills 2 of your models, and then there's no chance of you ever coming back. So there's some really, really neat mechanics in there. It'll be hitting Kickstarter at some point in the future. I really, really loved it. I played 2 games and I wanted to keep playing more. I really enjoyed the mechanics. Super simple to learn. By the end of kind of 1 turn, I knew exactly what I was doing. Obviously didn't necessarily know the synergies between the characters and stuff, which is where good players will excel. They'll know which characters have which synergies. They'll know what their opponents have. Because your deck is only 18 cards, and because you know there's a certain 6 cards for each of the characters, good players will know what cards are in that deck. They'll also know once that card's being played that it's not in that deck anymore, so they'll know to be able to do certain things and it can't be countered. It's a really, really strategic game, but super simple to get into. And the miniatures are fantastic. Really, really good. Az gave me a 3D printed version of the dwarf model, and I'm busy painting it up at the minute. If you check the Facebook group up, I was doing a little bit of painting on Saturday night while the little one was asleep. Really, really love them. Much bigger kind of scale, 45, 50 mil bases, really quite chunky. They're just really quite nice about picking them up and moving them around. There's a fantastic kind of backstory to it about how basically the wizards, there's these wizards who have found the solution to kind of perfect magic from these 3 different parts of magic that make up magic. And this has created a world where nobody wants for anything. There's no war, there's no famine, there's no greed, there's no stealing, because everybody can just magic anything up they want. And essentially they grow tired and they grow bored of this. So what they do is they sit around talking about the good old times when the big dwarf basically kind of had, used to have these big battles and who would win now. So what they do is they go back in time with magic and they recreate these battles with certain different heroes all against each other to see who would win. And that's where this kind of fantasy kind of, and super fantasy, because there's a lot of magic involved and kind of shooting lightning bolts and shooting ice bolts and lots of little kind of tricksy things. Really, really, really fun game. And then we sat down, we talked about a lot of stuff I can't talk about. We shared some stuff that I can't talk about, but with the plans to get back together soon and do more stuff. So the fact that they're on my doorstep and they're not in Nottingham is massively helpful. Really, really good. So let's have a little chat and see where the chat's up to, because there's a hell of a lot of people. Right, where are we at? Who have we got? We've got a few new faces as well, I think. We've got the Weekend Geek says, hello, BlackJack, long time no see. Good evening, Weekend Geek. It is a long time. I hope you're doing well. Fomorians into Dice Tales talking about his Vanguard stuff. We've got Anthony from Revenant Tabletop Gaming. Good evening, Anth. Hope you're well too, buddy. I still haven't sent you that contact details, have I? Remind me on, drop me a text tonight, and I'll find the business card for you. Bit of chat about Game of Thrones there. Everyone's saying trying, but buggered if I can get a join button. So it sounds like what Sean did was you have to go into a new browser page on your internet browser. You go to www.youtube.com/blackjacklegacy/join, and then you should see it. I think that was how he said he did it. We've got Silver MKI in as well. Good evening, buddy. How you doing? We've got Rui Luis has come in as well. Says, sorry he's late, was watching the news. It is a sad day for France, buddy. Yeah, completely understand that. Jack saying he backed Right Busters. It looks amazing, mate, honestly. All of the stuff I saw as well was painted by Seb Levine, which made it like a million times better. But I did see some of the production models as well. And everything looks like it's completely on track for delivery, exactly when they said it would be as well. Obviously, things might change between now and then, but everything looks to be running perfect, really, really smoothly. It looks fantastic, mate. Jackson, Mythic have their office near you, Andy, right? A few games companies are around Newcastle now. I only know Mythic in Newcastle, mate. Yeah, they are literally 10-minute drive from my front door. It's like something like sort of 7 miles or something like that away. It's really, really nice and close. But I'm not aware of there being any more in Newcastle. If you know any, mate, please let me know. Fomorian saying arena game, big hearts there. You're gonna love it, buddy. You really are. Tony says, really looking forward to Fantasy Brawl. Looks like a lot of fun. Went all in on Joan of Arc and cannot wait. So a little bit of a, what shall I say? Little bit of a possibility, shall we say, that I might be able to have a copy of Super Fantasy Brawl to bring with me to UK Games Expo. So anybody that is at UK Games Expo over those 3 days and want to have a game of it with me, I might have a version, and it'll be prototype stuff, but it'll certainly be able to give you a go of the game. I might have a version that you can try. Can't promise anything. All depends on a number of different things. But if I've got it, I will certainly bring it, and I will certainly demo it to anybody that wants to have a try of it. Skullmunch is saying really like the objectives idea. It's really clever. So kind of as it comes out along the track, the first one, you can't score it, but you can see what it is. So then you start thinking, in 2 turns time, that's going to be worth 2 VP. So if I start maneuvering across the board to try and get ready for it, but then if for whatever you can't do it this turn, it starts to slip away and you haven't got yourself ready for a different objective. But you can score more than one. So for example, one of the ones that we were playing was to control the center building or the center statue, and then another victory point thing that came out as well was to have 3 models around the center statue. So basically, I managed to get all 3 of my models around the middle, and I scored 2 VPs for one of the objectives and 1 VP for another one. So you can score multiple ones, but it really because you're only getting 1 VP for taking out opponents. There's almost more benefit to trying to maneuver around and try and score the objectives. So it makes it really tactile. Also, without having any dice, whatever it says on the card, if it says it does 2 damage, it does 2 damage. That's it. Your opponent might have cards that can mitigate that. But as you get better at the game and you know what cards your opponent's got, you can say, well, I know you can't have a card that can mitigate this particular spell because I know exactly what cards he's got, because I know what characters he's got. So as you get to know the game and as you get to know what cards each character has, you'll get better at it. And essentially, the more you play it, the more you know, the better you'll be. And I like that idea. There's no dice to basically kind of completely unbalance it. Henrik says, have to go. See you next week. Thank you for coming in, Henrik. Much appreciated. Silver MKI says, objective system sounds good, but not interested in card games. It's quite interesting, actually, because it doesn't feel like a card game. Because at any given time, you won't... So what I didn't explain was, basically, you can only play a maximum of 3 cards per turn, and you'll only have 5 cards in your hand. And essentially, the way you can play those cards is that you have 3 colours of magic, which is red, yellow, and blue, which means you can play a red card, a yellow card, and a blue card. Now, if for whatever reason you end up with a hand of 5 red cards, yellow magic and blue magic have automatic abilities that you can still use them. So it's just, that's where I kind of liken it to Keyforge, where almost, you know, in Keyforge, where you have to pick a particular faction and you can only play cards from that particular faction. This way, you can only play cards from a certain color magic. And then if you defend on your turn and you defend with a red card, you've exhausted the red magic for when it's your next turn. You can only use yellow and blue, so you can only play 2 cards that turn. So whilst it is a card-driven game, it doesn't feel like you're kind of overwhelmed with options. It just works really well. Where we're at. Andy Smithson as well. Good evening, Andy. Says, good evening, sorry he's late. No need to apologise, buddy. Christian says, I got my Hellboy Dispatch notification. Mine didn't come till about 9:30 or something on Friday as well. You should have it by, what day is it now? You'll probably have it by Thursday, mate. Nice one. Skullmunch there saying, it must have been fate. Kieran. Paul says, really glad to hear you've linked up with Mythic in the tune. When I saw Az moved up here from Beast of War, I was stoked. Yeah, I was having a chat to see how he's kind of settling in, and he said, to be fair, he pretty much spends his time working at the minute. Yeah, like he's doing 17-hour days. He's traveling all over the place. His partner, she lives down south as well, so they spend a lot of time sort of traveling backwards and forwards to each other. It's actually his birthday today as well, and he's away with his partner. So happy birthday to Az if he's watching, or if he ever catches up. So yeah, I think he's been quite busy. Really, he's not really had a chance to sample the local delights of Newcastle. Andy Smith says, have we agreed Kill Team Arena is worth getting? Yes. If you like Kill Team, it's like a different version of Kill Team. It's a little bit faster playing, I find, because there's not all of the awkward line of sights to contend with. It's not as aesthetically pleasing, but it does streamline a lot of things. So if you prefer things to be more black and white than beautiful big buildings with can I see through this window, all that kind of stuff, it just makes it for a little bit cleaner rules, I would say. Let's have a look, see what we're seeing here. Silver MKI is saying, even card-driven model games don't seem to do anything for me. Not sure what it is. It'll be worth... At some point on the channel, I'll have more information. Let's just put it that way. So keep watching and then see what you think. Paulo said he's hoping to be at the expo on the Saturday, mate. Tony says it'd be awesome. Ant says he's looking to make it down, but only on the Saturday. So shall we have a bit of a meet-up on the Saturday then? Let's plan something. I know Skull Munch and Flying Mammal's going down. Tony's going to be there. Ant's going to be there. Looks like Paulus is going to be there. I'm sure there'll be others there as well. I'm getting further down the chat now. Skullman says, Saturday looks like a perfect day for a meetup. Yes, and the guys at Mantic have said we can use their base as a bit of a meeting point as well, which would be pretty cool as well. So let's confirm something before, to make sure that we can arrange a time and we'll make sure that we meet up. Even if we just meet up for an hour or so, or even if it's just to grab a coffee, people can come and go as they please. But let's get a bit of a meeting point so we can get together. It'd be really cool to meet more of you. One thing that I really enjoyed about our Top Table Legacy Weekender was meeting more of you, meeting people like Sean and Ruth and Christian, Tony, because I have met Tony very briefly before, but not got a chance to spend much time with him. People like Malkavian, Michael, and Mark from Dice Tales. All of those folks that I kind of get the chance to meet up with, I don't really get to see. So yeah, it'd be really cool to do that. Skullmunch says members only. Considering there's just you and a guy from Russia, buddy, I think it might be a bit of a lonely meetup for you. A non-member meetup. Paul also says definitely up for a beer. Nice one. I've got a hotel actually on the NEC this time, so I don't have to drive at the end of the day. So yes, I'll definitely be up for a beer. Kibble saying maybe 2020. Johnny is saying agree, Shaggy comes across as a nice bloke, all right, but don't play Mel shots when you watch one of his videos. Taking a shot of tequila every time he says yeah will leave you blind. Definitely. Talking Kickstarters, did anyone back Mel the Terrain Tutors book? Looks like it's going to be one-stop book for all your terrain making needs. Mel smashed the goal. Great to see. He's a nice bloke. Yeah, it is cool to see because to be honest, there's not much else out there like that. Is that I've got some old GW books, Citadel books from back in the day, but there's been nothing in a long time, and I think people obviously rely upon YouTube videos and stuff now, which personally I find a lot easier. I like to be able to see when somebody's explaining something, but there is a place for books as well, and I'm really glad it's funded. Let's have a look. Redwell's in as well. Good evening, Redwell. How are you doing, buddy? Says, how's Battletech in your part of the world? I'll be honest, mate, it's non-existent. I don't know anybody that plays it. I haven't really seen much about it online either, if I'm honest. So yeah, it's pretty non-existent in my neck of the woods. Vijay says, Andy, I really enjoyed the video on gatekeeping. Topic came up in Minions chat and pointed people at your video. Thank you very much, Vijay. First of all, thank you for watching, and glad that you liked it. And thank you for the little bit of the point as well. It's been a bit of a mixed bag. I think the comments on the video are, in the main point, very, very supportive. And I'm really glad that the point I was trying to get across seems to have come across in the way I intended it. Some people have reacted a little bit negatively to me personally on it, assuming that I've suddenly become some kind of woke person, and now basically I try to be the social justice warrior. That's not the case. That wasn't what I was trying to do. I was trying to highlight basically that sometimes we do things without realizing it, and that we should never exclude anybody from anything, regardless of kind of who they are, only based upon what they do, and if their actions are not very nice, then it's fine to exclude somebody. I now get 5 thumbs down on every video I make, which is quite nice. I've obviously got 5 haters now. I used to always get 1 thumbs down. Now I get 5. That's either I've alienated 4 more people, or I've just got a bigger audience now. But yeah, it seems to be kind of like it's par for the course. What I would say, and something I wanted to chat to you all about, is I've done a lot of kind of what you call a talking head video, like opinion pieces recently. And part of that's been kind of how I've been feeling about stuff. Part of that has been, I think I just needed a bit of a refresher. However, my point is, they've done pretty well. I think most of them have done somewhere between 850 and 1,000 views, which is pretty decent for one of my videos. And my subs are starting to climb again now. From whatever slum I was in, I seem to have come out of it, and the subs are climbing up again now. So, what do you think? Do you prefer it when I do very sort of unboxings of stuff, when I do painting videos, when I do sort of gameplay stuff, or do you like those kind of sit and chat opinion sort of topical type stuff as well? Because I'm looking back over my old stuff as part of me kind of reviewing what I want to do going forward, and some videos don't do particularly well. So some of my board game stuff, it's done like 150 views, which is still 150 people have enjoyed that video, or have watched that video, I should say. But on the flip side, the video I did about I'm Not Going to Salute has now got 4,500 views. So it's a real mix. I'm trying to understand exactly where the audience is. And if I think about someone like Tabletop Minions, who only really does kind of those sit and chat type videos, those talking head videos, he's doing great guns, because I guess what it does is it doesn't really narrow you down to one particular game or one particular audience. It opens you up a little bit. So I'm in a bit of a conundrum at the minute, so it'd be good to hear what you think. Let's have a look. Bob Bob Point says, I'm up for that. Pathfinding for Mantic, so ideal location. We'll definitely come over in that case, buddy. I was having a little chat with Martin Thirlwell the other day just to see how he's doing and how he's healing up after his operation, and he suggested we can kind of I could use the base really somewhere to put my camera gear when I'm wandering around or whatever, and use it as a bit of a meeting point if we have a bit of a meet-up. So yeah, awesome. What's this? Have we got members coming out my ears now? We've got Christian Reeves as a new member now. Thank you very much, Christian. Also a Patreon subscriber as well, so thank you very much, buddy. And then we've got Peter Nicholas as well. I'm glad we found out how to do it. That's the biggest thing for me. I'm absolutely blown away we now know how to do it. So thank you to the new members. Tonight's been a member party there. So Skullmunch, you might get your member meetup yet. So yes, Bob, we'll definitely be across to see you. Skullmunch says, party at Andy's hotel room. Let me find out how big it is first, mate. However, that said, I have got a hotel on the obviously on the NEC place. So, like, if anybody wants to, if the event closes and anybody wants to go back to the hotel to play some board games in the bar or something like that, I am up for that as well. Paul is shouting toga, toga, toga. VJ says he backed the PDF, hoping to upgrade to the hard copy if they can get the post to Australia down. Yeah, I bet that's a bit of a killer for a hardback book, mate. As opposed timing-wise, you wouldn't be able to tie it up with anything else either. So, Throatsaw's in. Good evening, Throatsaw. Says, gatekeeper, new term, but bullying is age-old. People with power can misuse it, whether they are good in a gym or on a keyboard. 100%, mate. I specifically talked about gatekeeping within tabletop gaming, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist everywhere. It doesn't matter what it is, there's always little, I guess another way to term it would be there'll be little cliques of people that is very hard to break into. They don't want any new members in their group and they make it quite difficult. You get this no matter what the hobby is, or you even get it like in the office at work. You'll have little kind of areas of people who just want to sit and chat together and they don't want anybody else. So yeah, it's a new term maybe to explain it, but yeah, it's age old, unfortunately. All I was trying to do was really to make people who basically, much like me really, who because you're not the target of this kind of stuff, probably don't see it, just to be aware of it really, so that you can make people feel welcome, because you might not intentionally do it, but sometimes we turn our back on people. I think as an example, if Paul's in the chat there, who from Aircon, I was sitting there with just sort of sending a message to my wife on my phone, and it was his family that kind of came over and introduced themselves and asked me to come and play with them. That's the kind of thing that I'm explaining really. Just, you see somebody on their own. You know, if you're at a gaming convention or you're at UK Games Expo and you're playing a game and someone's sitting on their own, how hard is it to say to somebody, would you like to come and join in? I'm going on my own to UK Games Expo. There'll be big parts of that weekend I'll be wandering around on my own. I would love if somebody kind of sort of opened up their gaming table to me and invited me in. So I guess it's just treat people how you want to be treated, really, is all I'm trying to say. Where are we going? Rob Saunders is saying the Battletech box sets seem impossible to get here in the UK. I'm desperate for the Game of Armoured Combat box. Yeah, like I say, mate, I've not even really seen much about it. Tony is saying there, where were we going? Can't find the join button. So Tony, I don't know what you're watching this on at the minute. If you go to a browser, either sort of on your phone or on your computer, whatever it is, you need to go to like an internet browser. In the top, www.youtube.com/BlackJack Legacy/join, and that should be able to do it. So Christian and Peter have obviously managed to work it, so I assume it's working, but that's where you'll find it, buddy. It basically gives you a little highlight in the chat as well. I can also, if the numbers start to pick up from memberships, I can do perks as well, where basically we have sort of other stuff, like where you can have chats where only members can chat in the chat as well, where everybody can sort of see the chat and listen to the chat, but only members can comment. So if the members thing starts to pick up, especially as the numbers go up as well, we might look to do some other stuff in the future. I don't know. However, it means when you are commenting, your comment stands out quite a lot, because on my screen, it really stands out from everybody else's. So that's really cool as well. Rob says, yeah, also loved your gatekeeping video. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, like I say, I've had mixed reviews, but I think in general, it's been relatively positive. VJ says, people that try to act like gatekeeping doesn't exist is ridiculous, and people that bang on with anti-SJW stuff are even worse. Yeah, I have had a little bit of that. People seem to think I've suddenly kind of swallowed the blue pill, or whatever the phrase is. Again, thanks, Christian, for the membership there. Thank you very much. Johnny says, the VJ's off to Alice Springs in May for a few weeks, and he's packed his Fly SWAT and his Star Wars Sand People outfit. Any other suggestions? Flying Mammal says, everyone loves drama, but I prefer the non-negative. Oh, where's that gone? The non-negative Nelly, Andy. Non-negative Nelly. Yeah, I try not to be negative, and I don't kind of do the videos to create drama, I think. But I think sometimes there's certain points when I feel like I want to kind of get something out, I think. But yeah, anyway, speaking about all that kind of stuff, I've got loads of stuff that I need to start making videos on. I'm halfway through a video for Core Space. I got a bit sidetracked with that, and I've not managed to go back and review that fully yet. So I do apologise to the Battle Systems guys, but that is coming at some point in the future. I've obviously got Batman now. I've obviously got Hellboy now. I've got a couple of board games, which are Res Arcana and Victorian Masterminds, that I've been playing ready for reviews. I've struggled to get the players done in order to review them, which is what's delayed some of that stuff. So yeah, that's coming soon. I also had a very nice parcel today from the very kind people at Warlord Games. So after my chat about historical gaming and stuff, and some of the things we've been talking about, I got a nice parcel today, and I've been invited down for a visit to Warlord to have a look around their entire factory there, meet all of the people, get some demo games, have a look around their casting, where they do the casting and stuff. So I've got a date in the diary at the minute. I'm really looking forward to trying to get down there and do that. So they did send me this, which is the Band of Brothers starter box for bolt action. So in here there is US paratroopers and some German, whatever they're called. Where are they? It's upside down now. The US Airborne and German Grenadiers. So yeah, got that. Also included in it, which has given me a fantastic idea for videos, was two of these paint sets. So they have a paint set which basically is called Rapid Deployment, the fast paint system. So they've teamed up with the guys at Army Painter, and they essentially have a German Army Painter set, and they have a US Army Painter set. And inside here there is the number of different kind of greens and browns that you need. There is a small tub of the Strong Tone Quick Shade, and there's also an anti-shine matte varnish as well. So I'm going to be painting them up just using these sets. So that's pretty cool. They also sent me a copy of Blood Red Skies as well. So again, at some point, we'll be getting some of this stuff on the channel as well. So I've gone from not knowing anything about World War II, not knowing anything about historical games, to kind of starting to dip my toe in and have a look and starting to watch, what was it called again, World War II in colour, and then getting really interested in it, and then starting to kind of look around and thinking about what should I dip my toe into, what should I do. Now I've got the perfect opportunity. So I've just saw the comment at the bottom there. I hope that's the correct grey. Yes, that's another thing I was going to say as well. So one of the things I was talking about was being told, you know, that's German grey is not that colour grey, whereas these sets, well, not the US one obviously, but the German one. So the colours you have is German Army Field Grey, German Helmet Green, Zeltborn Cam Brown, German Army Green, Panzerfaust Brown, Anti-Shine Matte Varnish, and Strong Quick Tone. And actually, I'll very quickly just open them up here so you can see them on the stream as well. They're quite a nice little set, actually. I didn't even know Warlord did these. So, hope I can hold this up without tipping it all over the place. So inside them, you basically, if I can hold it on the camera so I can see it, you basically get all of the little army painted drotter bottles, and then you also get this nice little pot of the quick shade, the strong tone. So, and then you get the little thing with the anti-matte varnish. So I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in and having a look at those as well. Right, we've got a lot of chat here, a lot of chat. Paul saying discussion topics that make you think are always good. Unboxings are only interesting if you're interested in a specific thing you're unboxing. That's kind of where my head's at the minute, mate. I definitely want to kind of get a mix of stuff on the channel, but those seem to do well. So obviously, I want to do the stuff that gets watched, really. Silver saying there's a difference between gatekeeping and bullying. One can cross into the other, but a lot gatekeeping is less bullying and more an attitude being inaccessible. I'd agree with that, mate. Where are we at as well? Peter saying, where's his tabard? Bob said he promised not to take any dodgy pictures. I must have missed that part of the conversation. Paul saying he still can't get the member thing to work. I wonder if, yeah, like I say, I think you just have to have it. If anybody that has managed it, can you please explain? Am I explaining it wrong? Because obviously I can't do it. I think that's what you can do. Skullman said he's put the join link in the Facebook group too. So yeah, you can maybe try that. If you're in the Facebook group, you can maybe use the link from there. That might help. Flying Mammal says, don't use the app. Do not let your browser open the YouTube app. I think that's what happens when I'm on my iPhone. A lot of it goes through there. You almost need to kind of, you need to do it on the desktop version, don't you? Let's have a look. Rose says, gotta love trying to catch a live stream and then your boss walks in for 45 minutes chatting rubbish. Tell him to join in. Paul saying, golden rule of gaming and applies to gatekeeping and much else is don't be an arse. Yeah, it's like is it the Wheaton's law? Don't be a dick. That's what it is, isn't it? Where are we at? Flying Mama saying, dice bags, icons of your face. Pete says you can always find ways to spend money. Skullmunch says we need Andy emojis. I need to find out how to do the emojis now. I saw that tonight when I was looking to try and find out how you did the membership thing about you could do custom emojis. I'll have to work them ones out. Jack saying I think Andy's missing a trick with merch. Should have a BlackJack Legacy logo on a tartan shirt, or maybe have a tartan BlackJack Legacy logo. That might work. Lumberjack shirts. Who knows? Maybe I should get one. You know the one I've got with the never mind the mold lines. I should do it maybe with like a nice tartan pattern on instead. Joel is saying, down the bolt action rabbit hole. Looks like it, buddy. Looks like it. Rob saying bolt action box set is awesome. I very briefly lifted the lid off when it got delivered tonight just to have a look inside it, and yeah, it's absolutely packed to the rafters. So what I did like was, I should just say, is let me open the box up. Is the rule book in this set is like a nice little kind of nice size. It's not a huge big book. This is the kind of book that I quite like when I'm kind of just when I'm trying to learn to play the game from the rules. So yeah, I'll be brushing up on my bolt action stuff soon. Christian is saying nice, really like the bolt action gaming system. Yeah, I've been a fan of it as well. I think I never really knew where to start or what to pick up, or so the starter set seems like a good place, doesn't it? Paul saying Warlord are awesome as a way into historical gaming. They get the whole one-stop shop thing. Yeah, I had a chat. They basically have a new guy now who's almost like a community manager type thing for them. And he's only been in the job for about 2 or 3 months. And we had a phone call conversation the other day when we were chatting about this stuff. And yeah, obviously bolt action's a huge part of their sales. So they really do have a bit of a one-stop shop with it now. Where are we going? Claudio is saying trying your best German pronunciation. No, I'm not good with German. I did do German at school actually, but yeah, I'm not good with German pronunciations. Only one Pinman says, typically I don't really do historical games as a rule. However, I made a step into that world with Dead Man's Hand. And Paulus is saying Dead Man's Hand is great. Jack saying the looks a cool set. Paul says the army painter quick shade equals liquid talent. Yeah, I think I've heard that basically. It's I think it's just that it gets a bit shiny afterwards, doesn't it? So it's really cool that they've included that kind of anti-shine stuff as well. Anyway, we'll give it a try. What I'll probably do is I'll probably do some of them on the channel as well. So using that kind of that Warlord army painter system, what kind of effect can you get by the end of it? How is it really quick to do? You know, just basically, is that set worth the money? Ant said he's off for now. See you all later. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. Tony says, where does the join button appear on your screen? Oh, I think somebody's trying to help you out. I'll tell you what, if I put a link, Tony, in the bottom, youtube.com/blackjack legacy/join. If you cut and paste that into a browser, as long as it doesn't open up the app, you should be okay. And try that one. Raw says his boss isn't cool enough for the stream. Paulos is saying to check out Dracula's America. That always looked pretty cool, actually. I quite liked the sound of that one. Joel is saying even using Skullmunch's link on his laptop, he can't see a join button. I wonder what that is. Maybe even on the laptop. I'm not sure, buddy. I'm honestly not sure. To be fair, Skullmunch was the one that found it. So, Kirill is saying he's planning to use Quick Shade for the first time on his Napoleonic miniatures. Has anyone used it? Is it better than GW shades? I think it gives a really good effect, but it leaves it really shiny, so you need to kind of dull it down afterwards. I've not used it before. Looks like we'll learn together, buddy. We'll learn together. Johnny's on a chat with Rob there. Joel is saying something in German. Tony's saying, Kirill says he uses it a lot, but don't dip it. Paint it on. Lasts forever, and it's fantastic shader. I know that I think Pete uses it, doesn't he, on his like Gangs of Rome stuff and that as well. Redwell's got a nice little bow there. Somebody's discovered the emojis. Christian said he's used the bottle version. It's very good. Really darkens down your miniatures though. Yeah, you need to keep the colours quite bright, I think. Flying Mammal says looks forward to seeing something a little bit different. Yeah, it's new for me as well, so it's kind of piqued my interest to try something a little bit different. Fomorian says, I'm German and there's still a little air open to the top. Rob says, oh, yes, I'm going to chat with Johnny. Joel says, I just use that floor varnish stuff instead of Quick Shade. It's a lot cheaper. See Luke's video for advice on it. Yeah, Luke's video is pretty good for that stuff. Let's have a look. Hendrick's doing a test. Sean Clark in. Good evening, Sean. How are you doing, buddy? He said he's painted thousands of figures with it and it's ace. Sounds good then, mate. I quite like the idea. I mean, what they do say on the box is that there's a couple of colours that you might need that doesn't come in this box. So things like a black paint, a silver, and like a flesh tone, because they do a Warlord Games core paint set as well. But obviously, I'll use like my my normal paints for those colours I'm missing. But I think they're a good way to kind of, if you don't, like me, when you're a little bit concerned about, am I using the right colours to paint my historical stuff, these are a great set. Peter Nicholas is looking like he's discovered those as well. Sean's saying to paint it on, spray it with matte varnish and you're done. Paul said it's different to GW shade, definitely need army paint and matte varnish as it works, specifically with it. Slap it on with a brush, don't dip it. Yeah, I remember seeing years ago when this stuff first came out, people were putting models on the end of like drill bits and like spinning them to flick all the stuff off. I think it's definitely just kind of brush it on stuff. Raw says, did you talk about Super Fantasy Brawl while I was away? If so, I'll watch it back later. I did, mate. I talked about it for quite a bit. Paul says to undercoat in white and use lighter colours. Yeah, I tend to undercoat in white anyway, just because I tend to spray them black and then spray them white from above to give a kind of appreciate, really. So, yeah. Peter says he found that Andy Burtis emoji. It would have had less hair, buddy, if you'd found mine. Tony said apparently it's supposed to sit next to the subscribe button. Yeah, so anybody that has joined, was there a join button, or when you typed that into the browser, did it just come up with the option to join? That's probably the question, because some channels do have a join button, but obviously whoever's joined tonight, Peter and Christian and Sean there, they've managed to find a way around it, obviously. So it doesn't show up for me because it won't let me kind of subscribe to my own channel. And when I've tried it for some others to see if it worked, I think they don't have it sort of set up. That's what I was thinking, Christian. He's saying that when you type the link, it just took him to a page that was just the join screen. Yeah. So I wonder if I go into the Facebook group and see where Christian's or Sean's put a link to it. If I click on that link, what comes up? I wonder if it takes me to a different page. No, see, mine's just taking me to the page, but I think that's probably because it's my page. So that's why I don't think it works. But, yeah. Anyway, you see it's just a join page, not a join button. I think some channels have the join button, and I think they're rolling that out gradually. But for whatever reason, it's not there. But what we got here? Paulus is saying darker colours for World War II works well. There is that as well. I mean, I suppose they're not meant to be nice and bright, are they? They're meant to be down. I think what I will do as well, I might pick up some of the basing stuff from Luke's APS from Gatekeeping as well. I might pick up some of that and give it a try because it looks like nice kind of sort of tough to grass and stuff. Really look like they'll go well with these. I've never really used tough to grass and that before. So yeah, I might try some of them. Looks like there's a bit of chat going on there as well. Peter saying, Sean saying follow the Army painting guide. It's actually on the back of the box, mate. Yeah, it tells you exactly what to do. Basically, give it a coat of primer, block in the colours, no need for shading and highlights. It actually says dip the model into quick shade and shake off the excess, or liberally paint it on with a brush. Leave it for 24 hours to dry before giving your model a coat of anti-shine matte varnish, and finish off with base materials of your choice. So yeah, seems pretty straightforward anyway. Peter saying he found it under the comments bars, the box with like a dollar sign. Tony said he did it on his phone and it worked. It's weird stuff, innit? And Adam says, morning, wow, all I can see is mini Andy icons in the chat now. It's overrun with them. Yeah, good morning, buddy. I think we're starting to find out how this member thing works now. So that's kind of helping us out a little bit. So how we're doing for time? 20 past. See, for Maureen, when I click the dollar symbol under mine, I think it only gives you the choice for super chat. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. It might depend upon your region as well, mate, depending on where you are as well. So it looks like people are starting to find it anyway. So I tell you what we'll do. Seems we've had quite a few members tonight, and some people are still kind of looking and searching for it as well. I will we'll carry on the chat a bit longer again tonight. I'm having a good time. So if everybody's happy to stay for a bit longer, everybody happy? Let me know in the comments if you want a bit of a longer chat tonight. Adam says, Andy, talking about his member again. Yes, mate. Yes, we've got a few members. We've got a new member as well. We've got Tony as well. Thank you very much, Tony. Much appreciated. Also, a Patreon as well. Subscribe, supporting the channel from left, right, and centre here. And VJ saying, yeah, he only gets the option to super chat. Fly Mammal saying, keep talking. And for more instances, there you have the member button. Yeah, it'll either say it'll say member basically. So what I do is, like, if I've got, I wonder if I can show you on my phone. When I go into my YouTube app now, let me just flick it open again. So what you guys won't see probably is, I don't know if you'll be able to see it there. Is that going to focus? It won't focus. I've turned the autofocus off. Basically, along the top of the things, I've got like playlists, community, and there's also a member tab there as well. So I can do specific sort of chats or specific posts that only members will see. So now we've got a few members, I'll have to look into this and get my head around it a little bit more. Kirill's giving a bit of a wave there as well. Paul says, I found it. You have to be in YouTube Gaming. It costs $4.99 a month. Yeah, I think you're meant to be in YouTube Gaming, but YouTube Gaming is closed down. So when I tried to look for it, I couldn't find it. That's what it was. Yeah, Johnny says, Andy, once you start down the bold action path forever, it will dominate your legacy, consume you, it will. Yeah, I need to find out about it, mate. I need to do a bit more digging. I think I've watched a few YouTube videos on it, and it seems relatively straightforward. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Paulos said he's got an interview tomorrow, so going to turn in. Stay safe, guys. Thanks for tuning in, Paulos, and absolutely 100% good luck with the interview, mate. I hope it goes exactly how you want it to. Just stay chill, relax. I'm sure everything will go really well. So yeah, thanks, buddy. And everybody else there is saying good luck and thank you. I've got a lovely freezing cold cup of coffee here now, which is I could do with a drink, but never mind. We'll keep going. I don't want to leave you all. There's no point me disappearing now, is there? Go and get a drink. Oh, I just needed something wet there. So, what we chatted about? What have we talked about so far? Talked about going to Mythic Games, seeing all their stuff. As I said, he's really going to... I'm just reading the comment. Tony just said, a sign just flashed up saying, Tony Booth-Leiden has become a member. I'm so juvenile, I spat coke all over my monitor. That's my kind of childish humour as well. I'm not looking at the screen, so I miss it when it flashes up on the screen. I'm glad it flashes up for you guys. You'll be able to see up here in the top corner that basically it tells you there as the members are coming through there as well. So it's all kind of triggered from there. Whenever anybody does a super chat, whenever anybody subscribes to the channel, when everybody becomes a member, if anybody becomes a Patreon member as well, it basically it's all triggered up now, so these things come up. But I can see I'm going to have to spend some time looking at what they're called emojis and stuff now. Cheers, Paulos. Thanks, mate. Fly Mammal saying, you rock, Mr. Spooky. It certainly does. You all rock. You all rock. Thank you very much. From Maureen says, make an iced coffee out of it. I think that's essentially where it is now. It's pretty much ice. Mark says, have you all watched the new Star Wars trailer? And if so, what do you think? I've watched it twice now, Mark. And I'm honestly not really sure. It doesn't... It feels like they're trying to kind of make up for some of the things that people didn't like about the Last Jedi. This thing about you're never really gone kind of thing makes me feel like they could just kind of completely overturn a load of stories and bring loads of people back. Steve said he's got an ice cold can of Thatcher's. Oh, I've got a nice ice cold can of Guinness in the fridge, to be fair. And if it wasn't kind of 11:15 on a school night, I might go and crack it open. But yeah, not now. Tony says, so did I. Sorry, Peter says to Tony, so did I. I'm not even drinking Coke. Fomorian says, will you attend the Manic Open Day soon? So, my intention was to definitely go to the Manic Open Day on May the 4th, I think it is, that weekend. However, I didn't realise the tickets have all sold out. So, I might need to sweet talk Martin and Rob and see if I can sneak in a little bit and come and see everybody, because I completely forgot to buy a ticket. So, yes, maybe, I think, is the question. My plan, actually, I think I'm going to go down to Warlord Games the day before on the Friday, spend the day at Warlord and do some filming, maybe stay overnight and then do the Mantic Open Day on the Saturday and make a bit of a couple of days of the trip to Nottingham. So hopefully I can work something out with Mantic. Where are we? Rob saying, I know we have to go to an incognito window when there are this many members flashing up on my screen. Before long, we won't be able to see Andy's face anymore. There'll be members. We will not have members all over my face, that's for sure. So the list here only ever shows the top 3. I can change it so it shows more, but I never expected kind of this many people to be donating and be joining as members and stuff like that. So maybe I have to change it for the future. Fomorian is saying, I watched the new Mandalorian trailer a few minutes ago. It got leaked from Star Wars Celebration, the new series on a new streaming service from Disney. A new streaming series? I didn't know it was coming to that. I assumed it was going to be on Netflix or something. That is interesting. Steve says no work for him tomorrow. Actually, mate, there's no work for me tomorrow either because I'm staying at home with a little boy who's not very well. So that means I've still got to be up at like 5:30. Rose saying Mandalorian looks awesome. Dice Tales, are you at border conflict on the 27th of April? I assume by the fact I don't know what it is, mate, the answer is no, I'm not. What is border conflict? Is that the Vanguard event? I could be wrong. VJ saying, Andy, do you prefer subs via Patreon or this YouTube member thing? To be honest, mate, whatever makes people feel comfortable, because if you join as a Patreon, you can obviously you can decide how much you want to spend. You can start from kind of $2 all the way up to, I think there's a $30 Patreon membership thing. So you can control however much you spend. However, for that, there are sort of perks or bonuses or bits and pieces that you get within Patreon. So for example, as you go up to a certain level, like for example, Christian's one of my Patreons, the level he's at, he gets a free t-shirt every 6 months, which is an exclusive t-shirt that only Patreons of that benefit level and above get. I think there's other benefits where basically you can get 10% off merchandise, you get 10% off at Mythic Games. So there are specific sort of bonuses outside of this. If you join as a member here, YouTube take a cut of that. I think I get 70% of whatever whatever the subscription cost is. I think I get 70% of that. So I don't get it all. They take a cut of it. However, for that, you are getting sort of the bonuses that are here that you can see here. So you get your little icons, you get all that kind of stuff. If it gets to big enough, we may have to look at other things as well. I never really expected many people to want to do it, to be fair. So really, however you would like to do it, I am welcome with whatever sits comfortable. If you want to make a one-off donation through Super Chat, that's absolutely fine. If you want to make a one-off donation through Patreon, that's another way to do it as well. You can be a Patreon member for 1 month if you just want to make a one-off donation. Any of these ways to do it, whichever you're comfortable with. A lot of people come to the chat every Monday night, and these kind of little perks are sort of important to them. So I wouldn't say whichever one. I don't have a preference. I think it's just unbelievable that people want to support what I do with the channel. So I really do appreciate it. Skullman said he was in the top left for about 20 minutes. VJ says, can only really afford one. Yeah, honestly, buddy, whichever you're comfortable with, mate. Like I say, I think the amount you spend is controllable a little bit more with Patreon. Here, it's a fixed fee. You have to pay that fixed fee. With Patreon, you can control what you spend a little bit more. Steve Evans says, yeah, the joys of young kids. I'm glad my two have grown up now. More paint time. My older two have grown up now. They're 16, they're 17 this year. My youngest one's 2. Tony says, Manic Open Days are brilliant. I've never had a bad Manic Open Day. I've enjoyed every single one I've been to. There's always plenty going on. I love listening in the seminars. Ronnie always spills his guts. Even the staff at Manic go to Ronnie's seminars to find out what they're working on. Rui says you can play bolt action using the Flames of War 15mm miniatures. It works really well and it's cheaper. Well, I've already got some now, buddy, so I'll be starting with these ones now. But yeah, thanks for the tip. Pierre Nicholas says I play Kilting with Tiddlywinks for the same reason. Skullman says I did enjoy to support the channel. I bought a cool logo to go next to my name. Yeah, I think if you're in the chat every week, this is like a nice little thing to do. And essentially the way it's set up is the longer you stay a member, your little icon changes as well. At the minute, I've only got it set up for that one icon because I never expected sort of anybody or many people to join up. But I'll go back in now and I'll review it and stuff, and I'll do all of the different emojis and all that kind of stuff as well. So I'll make sure that I'll make sure you get your money's worth out of it. Ro says, right, I finished work, need to leave the building, see you all next time. See you, Ro, thanks for joining, buddy. And Skullman says he loves the channel. Thanks, mate, I really appreciate it. Steve said he's looking forward to the May Manic Open Day. It'll be his first. You'll have a great time, buddy. Like I say, there's always plenty going on. VJ says, cheers, was just thinking about which one you get more from. Yeah, I think Patreon probably give you more of the donation. But it's whichever works for you as well. I mean, it's your donation. The fact that you're supporting me is amazing, and it's massively appreciated. I would never kind of push anybody to do something they weren't comfortable with. Mark saying to Steve, you in for a treat. Tony says for $30 on Patreon, Andy comes round and cleans your oven. And after 6 months, I come round and do the carpets. VJ says, I think I'll stick with Patreon and the occasional super chat in here. I'm still on the screen from last week's. You are, buddy, and it's much appreciated. Thank you so much. Fly Mama says, Tony, I would pay for that. I don't even clean my own oven at home. I think Sean's giving you a bit of grief there, isn't he, Ruth? Saying that you don't clean the oven. So, I suppose we should probably chat a bit more gaming and stuff, shouldn't we? What else are we going to chat about now? And I didn't have enough to last an extra half an hour. I've quite enjoyed just the bit of chat and the banter that's been in here tonight. So yeah, so I've got these. I've got all this stuff to do. I'm quite fortunate actually. I'm getting to a point now where I'm getting quite a few offers from companies to kind of send me bits and pieces to do kind of Kickstarter videos and things like that, which they don't pay me to do them. It's more kind of sort of they send me stuff, so it's not like I'm making any money out of it, but I guess it's free hobby stuff if you like, and it is content for the channel. But I'm quite fortunate. I'm in a position now where I'm having to kind of turn things down, or I'm having to kind of say to people, can you wait a little bit time, because I'm quite kind of backed up with other stuff, which is quite a nice position to be in. However, it's a lot to kind of get through. So backing off the videos from 5 videos a week to kind of 2 or 3 videos a week is going to give me more time to work in the background on this kind of stuff as well. And I know my young lad Sam, he's quite into his World War II history. He's kind of he knows a lot about it. We were sitting chatting. We went for a cup of coffee on Saturday morning, me and him, while Adam had a bit of a lie-in. Lou was looking after the little lad while he wasn't too well, and I took Sam out for a coffee, and the two of us sat in Starbucks having a bit of a natter, talking about World War II and when he had a trip to Berlin with the school and all that kind of stuff. So he's quite knowledgeable on his history. So I think if I can paint these up, he'd be quite interested in playing this with me, actually. And especially the Blood Red Skies as well. It's quite a nice little set, that. And certainly those planes, I imagine, shouldn't take too much painting up. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to getting stuck into that. Let's have a look where we're at. Flying Mama's saying he's busy packing Munch's bags. Vijay saying he doesn't need his carpet clean. It would take me quite the journey to come all the way over to Australia, mate, to clean your carpet, that's for sure. Vijay says, Pocket Landship on Kickstarter, check it out. I will do, mate. Thank you very much. We'll have to have a look at that one. Skullman says, I've seen Andy's search history, how to deal with fame. You missed the one before that one, how to become famous. Do you know what? I'm in this kind of weird sort of middle ground, really, where the there's the opportunity to do more, but I don't have the time to do more. So I'm really kind of, I feel like I'm going to kind of hit this weird plateau where until I can find a way to monetize this channel and make it enough that it can kind of, it can just tip me over the edge where I can back away from my job kind of thing and start doing this. And the money from YouTube will never replace what I do as a daytime job, but I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for just enough to kind of pay the bills, or my part of the bills. Obviously, my wife works as well, because there's other benefits as well. So what it means is I could, when my little one goes to school in a few years' time, I'll be at home to take him to school and pick him up at the end of the day as well. Where at the minute, I'm out for work first thing in the morning and back from work last thing at night kind of thing. So there's other benefits to the kind of this YouTube thing. Really, I almost wanted to just be a bit of a part-time income, really, just enough to kind of make sure that, sort of like I say, pay the bills, really, not to make any money out of it. So if I can get to that point somehow, if I can find a way to kind of monetize things, that's when I think I can really kind of step it up to the next level. However, at the minute, the support that you guys are giving me is absolutely, it blows me away. And what I'm doing with that money is I basically keep saving it up and I keep investing it back into the channel. So things like buying this lens for the camera, so how you can see that. Personally, I think the quality is a lot nicer now with this new lens. So with all of this kind of like short blurred backgrounds and stuff, I've bought a gimbal thing for my camera. So when I'm out UK Games Expo or Manic Open Day, I'm not kind of bouncing around with a camera all over the place. I've got like a nice gimbal thing for it now. So all of this kind of stuff is all getting invested back into the channel, and hopefully at some point in the future, it'll help kind of supplement other ways I can find to do it. Flying Mammal says, "Brilliant, Andy. Enjoy what you're doing." I am enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. It's frustrating because I think I've mentioned this before. The job I do, basically my day job, it's quite a kind of corporate job. It's kind of quite. I'm relatively, without sounding kind of a bit posy, I'm relatively senior in the job I do, and I hated it basically. I've ended up. I used to be an electrician. I basically started out as an electrician when I used to kind of enjoy what I was doing, and through working hard and kind of sort of doing a good job, I've been promoted through into a position now where I'm kind of in this corporate role that I don't really enjoy, and at some point I need to get out of it, and I would love to get out of it by doing something I absolutely love, and that's why at some point I would love these two things to kind of be able to cross over. No idea if it'll ever happen, but that's my dream, that's my plan. Fomorian says, "What Kickstarters have you backed and are you waiting for at the moment?" Actually, I'm not waiting for anything. So the only things I'd backed were Resident Evil, I'd backed Hellboy, I'd backed Batman. They've all delivered now. So actually, I don't have any outstanding Kickstarters. So yeah, maybe it's time to start looking again, eh? Flying Owl says, #BlackJack Painting Challenge. Yes, everybody, BlackJack Painting Challenge. Get on it. This month we're about halfway through the month now. In fact, we are halfway through the month. So it's anybody that's not a member of the Facebook group, get over to the Facebook group, look in the events section, and you'll find the painting challenges for each month. I'm coming up with a way to try and make them a bit more public and to really show off the amazing work that people are doing. So yeah, keep me at it. Dicetail says, #didn't thin my paints. I very rarely thin my paints, mate, I'll be honest. I thin them down in the pot. So I tend not to thin them too much actually afterwards. Dicetail says, rushed for the Tony. Flying Mammal has discovered all of the icons as well. Nice one. And Johnny says, "Andy, it's simple. I've been discussing it with everyone here except Mammal, and we've come to the conclusion that you should jack in your job and your missus should get a second job." My missus works bloody hard as it is now. So my missus has got a decent job as well. So she works in sales. And we both work for the same company, which is what makes it doubly hard, really. So we have to kind of balance our diaries to make sure that so there's a lot of meetings that we sometimes should be in at the same time, and one of us dials into them and the other one that drives to Manchester for the meeting, because that's where our office is in Manchester. So it's like 165 miles away from where we live. So yeah, I don't think I'd manage to convince her to get a second job, but I mean, she's massively supportive of what I'm trying to do, and certainly, like, you know, we're a couple, we're a team, and as long as between us we can earn enough money to pay the bills and to get by, then that means I can earn a lot less than I do now and make things work, because it's about being happy, isn't it? What they say about kind of finding your passion. I kind of feel like I found my passion. I need to find a way to make it pay now. That's the thing. Steve says, Andy, are you going to be to WAFCON later in the year? I'm not sure, mate. I've not heard when it is, actually. I must have completely missed that somehow. But yeah, if I can make it, I certainly will. Cohen, did I miss you? Come in the chat, Cohen. I'm very sorry for not saying hello earlier on. Good evening, Cohen. And he said, snap, Andy. All I'm missing is the talent, opportunity, and the willpower. I don't know about the talent, mate. I've got an opportunity, I think, and I've definitely got the willpower to do it. I'm not sure I've got the talent yet. But the difficult thing with this is there's nobody to really ask for advice. There's nobody that's kind of doing what I want to do, really. I mean, I'm becoming quite good friends with Luke from Luke's APS, but he's got a real kind of business, really. The YouTube's almost a supplementary side to it. He's got a business sort of selling these tables and selling all of these terrain stuff. And the YouTube's just one part of that. It's very difficult to find anybody to ask for advice. The only people kind of who I look up to, I suppose, who I could see are basically making it work, are people like Guerrilla Miniature Games, and I guess people like Beasts of War. But they're not like sort of people I can just kind of go, oh, so by the way, what do you do to start kind of making money out of this? It's a really difficult conversation, and there's nobody to really turn to. So I'm kind of finding out by making mistakes and then trying something different. It's quite a difficult one, actually. VJ is saying no outstanding Kickstarters. I'll better get on that, mate. I'll be honest. Bald Nerdy said, sorry I had to bounce out to pick up my son up from school. Thanks for the awesome stream. You get me excited to see Hellboy tomorrow. I was so worried, as it's one of my most anticipated movies of the year. You will enjoy it, buddy. Honestly, if you go in with the attitude is I'm just going to switch my brain off, I'm going to go for the ride, I'm going to enjoy all the one-liners, I'm going to enjoy the loud music and the gore and the over-the-top fantasy violence, you'll enjoy it. You'll have a fun time. Thanks for dropping in, buddy, anyway. Claudio saying WAFCON is the end of August. End of August could work. Yeah, I think it could work. Claudio says, love your insight into the monetary side of your channel. It really makes it kind of human. And Flying Mammal says, human and honest. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. So what I make, the money I make from this channel, basically, and it's not vast sums of money kind of thing. The biggest chunk of what I make is from my Patreons. And by the time Patreon takes their little cut, by the time the dollars are converted into pounds, I probably make, let's think, it's probably about £60 per month. So it's not massive money. It's not the kind of money where I can kind of quit my job. If I got an extra 200 Patreons, things might be different. But with the support I've got at the minute, that gets me about £60 per month, something like that. And like I say, that money goes into my savings pot, and I save that up, and it helps me buy things like batteries for my cameras and memory cards because things break down over time, tripods and cables and lights and all that kind of stuff. And all of my Patreon money has always gone into kind of funding the channel. I make ad revenue from YouTube, so because I'm only a relatively small channel, and every time you click skip on an advert, I don't get any money from that. That makes me roughly probably on average about £30 per month. And then if I average out from things like selling t-shirts, I make about £1.50 on a t-shirt when it sells. I don't make much from that. And certainly some of the ones have gone for charity as well, so that money's at one side for the charity pot. I don't make much on that. So on average, I would say at the minute I'm making about £100 a month, which is it's not the kind of money I can kind of quit and go and start sort of doing this full time. At some point, I've got to try and find a way to not rely upon people's generosity, but to make what I do financially stable. And I get what's really helping is your generosity is allowing me to get to a point where my quality is becoming good enough that people will want to send me stuff because they see there's a benefit. Hopefully at some point in the future, there's a benefit to spending money with me. For example, can you make us a video, or would you be able to do an advert for us? Which is the way people like Beasts of War work. They basically get paid by these companies for sort of previewing games. And that's because they've got a sort of 80,000 subscriber reach or whatever it is. So at some point, it might take a while. At some point, hopefully I get to a point where it can start to generate some kind of income. But yeah, that's really how it is. Let's have a look. Redwell says, have you looked at Wild West Exodus? Yes, I have briefly, a long time ago when it was a bit clunky. It's improved a lot since then, and it's something I'd quite like to look at some point in the future, I think. From Orient's, Fly Marvel says, just keep going. That's the plan. Had a bit of a wobble a while ago when I felt like I was wasting my time and what the hell am I doing this for? It's never going to go anywhere. I've kind of sort of reset myself a little bit now, and it's just a case of you've just got to keep going. The dream's there. It might be years away, but I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Johnny says, are you still planning to meet up with the Battlehammer Teabaggers? That's the plan, buddy. At some point, I think once they move, once Straw moves house, I think we're going to try and get something together at some point. Maybe have a game of Aristide, I think. Steve says, WAFCON's end of August. Sunday they're doing Vanguard. I might be able to make the 1st of September for Vanguard, and that might be cool. Claudio is saying, I'll heavily try. There is no try, I know. Yeah, it'll be cool, mate. VJ says, oh, that reminds me, got to grab a Mold Lines t-shirt. Yeah, so for those that don't know, Teespring store, there'll be a link in below the description of this video to the Teespring store where you can buy some of my t-shirt merchandise. Skullmunch says, I hope YouTube doesn't take too big of a cut from our membership. So I'll be completely upfront and honest so you know exactly what you're spending your money on. YouTube take 30%. So they take 30% of, I forget what the cost is, it's $4.99. They take 30% of that, and I see 70% of that. It comes back in, it gets paid in through my ad revenue. So whenever anybody donates on the live stream from a super chat, or if anybody becomes a member, I get paid that back through the ad revenue, and I only get paid ad revenue money when it reaches £60. So once it builds up to £60, they basically send me it as a payment into my bank. So yeah, that's exactly how it works. I want to be completely open because I appreciate tonight. It's been quite a lot of money changed hands and stuff. People have been absolutely super generous. I want to make sure everybody knows completely, sort of full disclosure, exactly where the money's going and exactly how much of what you're spending comes to me as well. But the other way, I mean, some people might think, well, that's disgraceful. YouTube's taking all that kind of a big cut. If it wasn't for YouTube as a platform, I wouldn't be able to do any of what I do. So I don't really begrudge them kind of making some money out of it. Yes, they make millions and billions. However, I don't really begrudge it. The YouTube platform is absolutely free. It's not costing me anything to have all of my videos up there for people to see. They allow me to kind of have adverts sitting in front of my videos, all that kind of stuff. They allow me to have access to this community as well. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, to balance it off, they're not exactly the bad guys. But yeah, just in the interest of open and honesty, they take 30%, I get 70%. Steve said, would love to see you there, mate, doing Dread Ball this year, so no Dungeon Saga. I could do with painting up my Dread Ball stuff, if I'm honest. They're still unpainted, which is terrible. This is what happens when they come on their own little plastic bases and they're all coloured plastics. I haven't bothered painting mine up. I need to sort that. Cohen says, I don't see it so much as generosity, it's an investment. Same as magazine subscriptions. You know you'll enjoy the content, might not read every page, but you're happy to have it. I guess it's really weird for me personally because, like, I'm not the kind of guy that basically is kind of like, I'd like to think the stuff I do is worthy of kind of paying to see it, if you like, but some of it, I think deep down it feels like begging a little bit, and it doesn't really sit comfortable with me, but I'm aware that if I don't do it, like then I won't make anything, and my dream and kind of what my passion will never become a reality because I'll never get there. So yeah, I'm still in my own head. I'm kind of still wrestling with the whole sort of like the donations and the Patreons and all that kind of stuff. It's massively appreciated, and it really does help. I can't say it doesn't help, because I wouldn't have 90% of the stuff I've got if it wasn't for people's donations and their support. It just kind of feels a little bit weird at times, that's all. We've just got Douglas Painter there as well. Has just become a member. Thank you so much, Douglas. I should say Reluctant Artie as well, for those that don't know. Massively appreciated. Again, I can't say thanks enough, really. It is awesome. Dice Tail says, what's your very first vid like? Did you have dreadlocks? And that was such a long time ago. If you go back and watch the live stream I did on 2 years anniversary, I shared my first ever video on there. It's still on my YouTube channel, but it's hidden away so nobody can see it. But I very briefly talk through it. If you ask Skullmunch, she'll tell you how cringy it was. What I would say is my first videos were awful. I was really uncomfortable on camera. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was talking about. The quality wasn't very good. Some would say I've not got much better over the years, but I get the biggest thing I've got now after 2 and a bit years, almost 2.5 years on YouTube, is I'm just a bit more comfortable now. I don't feel as kind of cringy as I used to. I'm pushing to try and make the quality better. I'm pushing to try and make the content better. But the biggest thing is that I think what you see kind of here on the live stream is just kind of how I am. I might be a bit more chatty because I have to keep things going. But this is just my personality, really. This is just me. VJ said, oh, sorry, I missed Skullmunch as well. As Dory would say, just keep swimming. I feel like I'm swimming against the tide at sometimes, but yeah, just keep swimming. VJ says, I recently lost 40 kilograms, so I'm buying a lot of new clothes. OK Moldlines t-shirt purchased. First of all, thank you for purchasing a t-shirt. Much appreciated. Secondly, that's awesome, buddy, losing 40 kilograms. I lost a lot of weight a number of years ago, so I've put a bit of it back on now again. So I was a bit slimmer than this, but I used to be a lot bigger than this as well. And I basically, over a period of a couple of years, lost a lot of weight. And yeah, it takes hard graft. Hat off to you, buddy. It's hard work. Where are we at? Flying Mammal saying yeah to Douglas. We got Paul Palms in. Good evening, Paul. He says, what's up, everyone? Sorry I'm late. To be honest, buddy, we're running an extra half an hour longer than I normally do, really. So you would have missed me completely, but let's see how it's going for time. Things are going all right at the minute. I'm enjoying it. Reluctant Artie says, look at me, missed the entire episode. Skullman says, new member, can't wait for my 50% commission. That's what we agreed, right, Andy? Yeah, you get 50% of my 70%. Is that how it works? We've got in Flying Mammal saying, you're here now, Artie. That's the important thing. Peter says, I think I found your 40 kilograms. Skullman says, I hope it wasn't 40 kilograms of minis. Bloody hell, that's just a Hellboy box, I think, isn't it? Artie says, so I guess I have to start painting now. Exactly, buddy. Get the brushes out. Definitely. Flying Mammal says, do not talk about the first video. It's like Fight Club, isn't it? First rule of BlackJack Legacy live streams, we don't talk about the first video. And Johnny's saying, well done on your VGA, good on your cover. Paul Palms says, you shouldn't worry about the Patreon thing. People who want to give support will do. Everyone does it. Yeah, and I know that deep down, I think one of the problems I've got is that everything I do on this channel is just me. So whether it's running the Facebook groups, whether it's kind of being on Twitter, whether it's being on Instagram, whether it's making videos, whether it's filming, whether it's editing, whether it's trying to kind of pull everything together, there's just me. I don't have any help or support from anybody else. Like really, other than the fact that my wife basically looks after my son and tidies the house and makes the meals and all that kind of stuff. But from a channel perspective, it's literally just me. So when it comes to the Patreon, the Patreon pledges and the tier levels and the rewards, I've got to try and do something that's relatively low maintenance for me, but is worthwhile for you to consider being a Patreon. And I've struggled with that for quite some time, and I still don't feel like I've got it right. But I'm learning all the time. Again, as I mentioned before, it's one of them weird things where there's nobody to ask. I'm in this kind of weird ground now where I'm coming up towards 5,000 subscribers. I'm not a small channel as I used to be before, but I'm not a big channel either. And there's very few channels in that kind of 4,000 to 5,000 to maybe 20,000 range that are doing similar stuff to me. To be fair, there's not many channels that are doing similar stuff to me. There's not many channels cover lots of different games. So it's quite hard to know where to go, where to ask for advice. Some channels are a little bit guarded and they don't really want to mix with other YouTube channels. Some channels really want to get involved with you because you're a little bit bigger, that kind of thing. And it's you're trying to learn from the people ahead of you, if you like, but the people ahead of you want to learn from the people ahead of them. So it's quite a difficult thing. But the Patreon thing, if people are happy to support and they're happy with what they're receiving, then I am absolutely 100% privileged to have them as supporters. Kirill says first video. So Kirill, basically when I first started my YouTube channel, the first video I ever made on my YouTube channel was awful. And it's now hidden away. Nobody can see it. So if you go into my videos and you order them as oldest first, what looks to be my first video, which is an unboxing of The Walking Dead, is actually my second video. My first one was awful. And I did a live stream November last year when the channel was 2 years old. And in that live stream, I showed the first ever video. Yeah, but we don't talk about it because it was awful. Let's have a look. Fly Mouse says, Andy is literally the same in person. Love him. Oh, too kind. Too kind. Vijay saying, my little fella coming along was the key to getting me to lose the weight. Couldn't have done it without him. You need something to focus on, don't you? It's really hard to do it on your own. You need something to motivate you. Artie said it was Skullmunch's link that I was able to do the member thing. I've just noticed, Artie, you haven't got the little green thing, have you? Are you linked on a different account? Have you signed up with a different account or something like that? Need to right. We'll need to check into that one, buddy, because I don't want you missing out on that one, mate. Your name's at the top of the list there, so I wonder whether you got a different YouTube account from the email that you clicked the link with. We might have to look into that for you, buddy. VJ saying he's just joined the mini painting challenges. He's painting these Blitzball orcs this month and can take them to Tabletop Minion Expo. Nice one. He's got a Wanderer Nomad Prince as part of the TMX painted mini swap as well. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, we should think about doing a painted mini swap on here if anyone is interested. I've seen that on other channels and stuff as well, but it's more for me to organise it, I'm completely honest. But if anybody would like to kind of organise something or is interested in it, let's have a chat about it. Let me know and we can work it out. Rui said, good night, everyone. He's heading off. Thank you very much for joining in, Rui. Thank you, buddy. Christian says, I'm happy to support as is. Don't need exclusive content. Just keep doing what you do. Very kind of you, buddy. I really do massively appreciate it. Honestly, I know I keep saying it. I must sound like a broken record, and I hope it sounds genuine because it is genuine. It's just, I never really know how to thank people. Like I say, it still kind of sits kind of funny with me. It kind of blows me away. I never take it for granted, and it's just, it's amazing. Honestly, it really is amazing. Thank you. Everyone's seeing a bit of night. Cohen says, I'm about 2 years late to the party, but I just got the notice that the postie will have Gloomhaven strapped to his back tomorrow. That's a bit exciting. I feel for your poor postie, mate. The guy that delivered my Hellboy today, yeah, he looked like he was struggling a bit as well. Formorian says, keep going on, Andy. It's much appreciated from me, us too. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Flying Mammal saying, Christian is ace. He's even better when I don't call him Kieran, that's for sure. Skullmunch says, I have 2 accounts, although only having a single Gmail. It was something to do with the old way YouTube used to work. Yeah, well, if you're struggling, Artie, drop me a note and we'll see if we can try and work it out between us, buddy, because it might tell me at my end which account or something like that you've signed up with or something. If it's a different one to the one you signed in with, at least I'll be able to tell. Where are we at? From Maureen saying, have to go now, bed. So good night to all the checkers. Good evening, buddy. Thanks for coming in. I think we're going to start wrapping up now anyway. It's after 11 o'clock. I ran well over tonight. So VJ saying he's organising the one for Tabletop Minions and happy to do one for you after you get back. Let's have a chat, buddy, when you get back then, because I don't know a lot about it or how it works. So yeah, let's have a chat about that one. Everyone's saying night from Morian, and VJ saying it will be July at this stage. July's fine. It gives everybody a chance to go through a few more of the painting challenges and stuff anyway. So, right, I need to stop. I need to get a drink. My throat's all dried up now. I want to say, first of all, a huge thank you to every... Oh, that's it there. You've worked it out, buddy. You've worked it out. That's absolutely awesome. You've got your green one now. Sorry, I got completely sidetracked there. Different Gear TV. Thank you for dropping in there. I just saw your name there as well. It says, have you pledged the Terrain Tutors book? Maybe you could do a Kickstarter on making tables. Yeah, I don't really think that's my skill, to be honest. I mean, my most watched video ever is how to make a War Games table. And I know for a fact if I make another one, it'll do loads of views and loads of subs and stuff. But that takes a lot of time. And it's time I'll be spending not making other videos. So you get caught in this weird kind of circle of stuff. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming in tonight. I appreciate Game of Thrones was on, and some of you have missed Game of Thrones to come and watch me. So that's huge. The fact that we're still here after 2 hours and we've still got 33 people in the chat is amazing as well. So thank you so much. Another thanks to everybody that's joined as a member tonight. It's blown me away, your support. It's absolutely fantastic. Thank you for that. Thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers as well. As I mentioned tonight, a little bit of chat about kind of money and stuff at the end there. I know it's a little bit crass to talk about money, but I want to be really open and honest with you and let you know exactly sort of how much of what you donate comes to me and exactly what it gets used for. I'm not kind of like, I'm not booking a holiday to kind of the Caribbean on the back of it all. Everything that comes in either goes into savings, ready for when I need it for. It pays for me to kind of travel to events and things like that. It pays for me to kind of... So if I go down to Warlord Games and stay overnight and then go to Mantic the next day, I use that money that's in that pot to kind of pay for a hotel. So it's helping me to kind of pay to keep the channel running, but it's not enough yet for me to kind of to quit my day job and make it full time. That's the point I'm trying to make. We've also got, what was I just going to say there as well? Yeah, so thanks to all the Patreon subscribers as well. I've just noticed, it's just flashed up on my phone as well. I don't know if it'll flash up on the screen or not, but I've just had Claudio as well. I've just had an email from Patreon to say I've got a new Patreon member as well. So thank you, Claudio. Much appreciated. At some point, it will come up on the screen here as well. See if we can keep chatting long enough for that to happen. But yeah, thanks to everybody for coming in tonight. Really do appreciate it. If anybody, I'll tell you what, if you could all do me a huge favour and give the video a thumbs up. If you could also at some point in the next few days pop back, come into the chat, come into the comments on this video. Let me know if you've enjoyed the chat. Let me know what the bits are you enjoy, and let me know what you want to chat about next week. That would be awesome too. Claudio says, I think we all know that, Andy. I can feel you that it must be strange to ask for money, but otherwise it doesn't work, and we all love and enjoy it here. Thanks, buddy. It's I'm not a salesman really kind of thing, so I'm not used to asking for money. I'm a creator. Even in my day job, I work in product design and product development. I'm not really into asking for money. I'm more about kind of trying to create things. So there, Claudio's name's on the chat there now. We've got it up there. So I wanted to make sure that was there before we signed off. So yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming in the chat. I've said this a million times now, but I'm just kind of, I really am. It's an amazing community that we've got here. It's not my community, it's our community. You're all part of it, and I really do appreciate each and every single one of you. So thanks for joining the chat tonight, and I will see you. Oh, this week's video, we've got an unboxing of the retail version of Hellboy with myself and James and Sophie, the creators of the game, that I filmed way back when I was at Mantic, but I was only allowed to release it this week. So that'll be the next video that you see. So if you didn't back the Kickstarter and you're wondering, is it worth picking up the retail copy? there's a video this week with me and the creators that tell you exactly what you'll get inside the box. So enjoy it, everybody, and I'll see you all in the next video.